Okay, guys, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're watching from. Please like, subscribe, and share right here. The subscribe button right here. Thank you. You're welcome. Good morning once again, and welcome to EBEONADI, the 103.5 FM. Today, the 17th day of October 2024. The time today is Thursday, and the time is a minute past the hour of 7. It's time for newspaper headlines on EBEONADI, the 103.5 FM. This morning, we are going to take you through the news, making the headlines on Nigerian newspapers. But before we do that, let's go for a short break. When we come back, we'll continue on the stories making the headlines. Please stay with us. You're welcome back to newspaper headlines on Ebona, the 103.5 FM. This morning, we are going to take you through the news, making the headlines on The Guardian, Leadership, Vanguard, Punch, Daily Post, The Nation, This Day, and if time permits, we're also going to take a look at the Nigerian Tribune newspapers. Remember that you can become part of the conversation by sending your reactions via SMS or WhatsApp messages on 080 65 I am Martin. Let's get started with the Guardian newspaper this morning. 105 dead, 55 injured in Jigawa tanker explosion as a residence scoop fuel. Emirs alarmed as UNICEF says only 9% of Bauchi children can read. Lagos Red Line Rail begins operations to move 500,000 passengers daily. 3 policemen dismissed for killing para police student. Family of slain Delta graduate demands justice. Customs uncovers 1.2 billion naira codeine in 4 containers at Lagos port. EFCC witness narrates how suspects allegedly defrauded son-in-law. EFCC witness narrates how suspects allegedly defrauded son-in-law. Lasema urges collaboration with education sector to reduce disaster risk for youth. Nigerian Security Civil Defense Corps urges youths to safeguard national assets, infrastructure. National Drug Law Enforcement Agency seizes 115.226 kg illicit drugs, arrest 149 suspects in Ebonyi. First Baptist Church, Kosofe, marks centenary with great celebration. Good Samaritan seeks help to locate family of man in critical condition. Lagos trains principals, head teachers on safety in schools undergoing construction. Coalition wants EFCC officials sanctioned for invading Enugu radio station. Edo Governor-elect Okpebholo alleges looting of government properties, enhancing food safety through nutraceuticals. How plant-based additives can improve livestock consumer health. Bobrisky's voice note. Files gives Bobrisky 12 hours to apologize. Tanker fire Akume to lead the federal government delegation to Jigawa. Join in narcotics fight. Nasarawa governor tells colleagues. NAPE holds workshop for media professionals. NHIA enrolls 10,000 in River State. Lokbobri mourns victims of Jigawa tanker explosion. Others probe. 105, we've taken this. World Food Day. Inflation, wherein Nigerians begging, borrowing for survival. World Food Day. Inflation, wherein Nigerians begging, borrowing for survival. Adamawa, FEM partner to train 1,000 youths, people living with disabilities, and women in FCT. Abbas plays 10,000 naira monthly upkeep for pensioners. Alapere pedestrian bridge reopens after repairs. World Bank, African Development Bank move to boost renewable energy in Africa. Power Minister denies multiple grid collapses, blames minor trip-offs. Castena laws foundation for investing $2 million in agri health sectors. Your policies punishing Nigerians, professional bodies tell Tinubu no new taxes. FIRS allays fears of over reforms. No new taxes. FIRS allays fears over reforms. Court restrains very dark man. Others from defaming Falana. Apologize to Nigeria. Senate tells Libyan government. Insecurity. Federal government launches school protection squad in Ekiti. Court backed Rivers lawmakers declare seats of 4 members vacant. That's the much we can take from the Guardian newspaper this morning. From the Guardian newspaper, we'll flip over to the leadership newspaper. Hardship, ex-minister Nduese Essien warns of looming anarchy. Hardship, ex-minister Nduese Essien warns of looming anarchy. Reps asks Tinubu to submit 2025 budget in 2 weeks. Small-scale industrialists to access 200 billion naira Bank of Industry loan. Food security. Parapoli commences sale of farm produce. Governor Eno names 8 permanent secretaries, warns against complacency. Tertiary Education Trust Fund pledges support for African Varsity of Aviation. Hardship. We've taken this. Tertiary Education Trust Fund, EFCC, synergize on judicious utilization of funds. Reps ask Tinubu to submit 2025 budget in 2 weeks. Small scale, we've taken this. Sakin Gobi, Governor Emir, Speaker, NILDS, Palm Wires Chiefs, pay last respect. Kanu Assembly assures Hisba Board of Improved Welfare Package. No rift with National Assembly. Presidency. UBEC develops modules for STEM teaching approach. Refugee Commission condemns attack on National Open University facility. Will Nigeria's revamped curriculum meet market demands? Oloyede calls for regulations on usage of artificial intelligence in academics. Stop smuggling petrol. ACG advises Nigerians. Nigerian India Business Council inauguration. Local government autonomy. Sanction governors of floating judgment. Civil society organizations urge federal government. National Assembly. Non-governmental organization registers WAEC NECO for indigent students. Sanwo-Olu promises Boys Brigade of continuous support. Accountability in Nigeria's foreign missions. Parents groan as academic expenses soar. Nigeria partners global health agencies to strengthen cancer care infrastructure. Parents of 2-year-old boy killed by National Drug Law Enforcement Agency demand 2 billion naira. Impeachment threat against Akpabio unsettles lawmakers. Jigawa tanker explosion. 109 victims given mass burial. 54 hospitalized. Governor Ododo flags off 20-kilometer Obajana Uro Ako rural road. 2,000 participants for 2024 Para Build Tech Confab. Lagos government mold partnership with Swedish firm on waste to energy. 16 foreign institutions attend Premier Academy Varsity Fair 2024. Lagos to pay 85,000 naira minimum wage. Declaration of pro-Fubara lawmakers seats vacant, dead on arrival, says opposition lawmakers. No leadership vacuum as Tinubu Chetima travel abroad. Presidency. Hand washing day. WBFA. Detour educate Ogun school children on proper hygiene. Shop to Green. Shop to Green. Nigeria Food Culture Initiative to plant 100 million trees. Tanker fire. Tinubu dispatches Akume-led high-level delegation to Jigawa. Speaker Abbas Kalo mourn victims of Jigawa tanker explosion. Edo Governor-elect Opegoro raises alarm over alleged looting of funds, government assets. Ondo governorship poll. Oyo APC accuses Makinde of plan to cause chaos. Presidency denies allegation of security interference in Senate. 140 Jigawa tanker fire victims are buried, 90 hospitalized. Ahmed Musa shines as Kanu Pillars defeat Rangers 4-3 in Enugu. Her money, her power. Anika Uka wins BB Niger Challenge. Ogun, Deputy Governor hails MBC as firm trains 1,000 youths. Veteran Nollywood actor Ayobami Bobo B is dead. Bill to ensure prudent management of resources, enhanced revenue skills. Second reading. Bill to ensure prudent management of resources, enhanced revenue skills. Second reading. Federal government labor leaders meet over fuel price hike. Police will arrest another escaped convict from Borno prison. Governor Zulum hails NCAA boss Najamo on aviation safety. Lokbobri directs NMDPRA to investigate Jigawa tanker fire. CNG, federal government unveils 10 billion naira essay conversion credit scheme for Nigerians. Tinubu Chetima out of Nigeria as a VP embarks on 2-day visit to Sweden. Reps demand immediate reversal of fuel cooking gas prices hike. Yoruba have right to secession. Igboho replies federal government over letter to UK. Federal government to review safety protocols after Jigawa tanker tragedy. Akpabio debunks impeachment plot rumor. Others Senate probe. Vehicles, properties destroyed as a petrol tanker explodes on Lagos-Ibadan Expressway. Morocco to host CAF Women's Championships League Final 2024. Wike solicits payment of taxes for government to provide social services. Hand washing can reduce diarrhea by 30%, says UNICEF. National Drug Law Enforcement Agency arrests 149 drug suspects in Ebonyi. Indian flights diverted over bomb scare amid rising security threats. Still on the stories making the headlines on the leadership newspaper this morning, Shehu Sani accuses World Bank of prolonging hardship in Nigeria. Messi drops retirement hint after matching Ronaldo record. Federal government to overhaul allow dam after flood disaster. Thomas Tuchel named New England manager. I generate 15% of Nigeria's electricity. Davido's father. Estimated electricity billing is fraudulent. says Adelabu. 622 million people to live in extreme poverty by 2030. World Bank. Governor Namadi. He marks 26 billion naira for agri mechanization. Teachers honor Governor Namadi. Khadija University collaborates Razi Varsity to launch professional courses. Jigawa governor tasked local government chairman on accountability commitment to service. Jigawa governor tasked local government chairman on accountability commitment to service. And that's the much we can take from the leadership newspaper this morning. Still on the stories making the headlines on Nigerian newspapers this morning from the leadership newspaper, we'll flip over to the Vanguard newspaper. Tragedy in Jigawa, petrol tanker explosion kills 147. Federal government, Labour agree on how to crash transport fares, food prices. Yoruba group divided over Akintoye. Igboho's call for breakup. Illegal cocoa farmers destroying Ogun forest reserves, timber dealers, oil magnate Akiduru sues EFCC for unlawfully declaring him wanted. Opeboro, Edo governor-elect warns banks against last-minute loans. Alert DSS. Reps want a reduction in prices of petrol, cooking gas. Reps to Tinubu submit 2025 budget proposals without delay. Chetima to represent Tinubu in Sweden for bilateral talks. Serving warmed meals to Nigerians unacceptable. Keyamo tells foreign carriers. Still on the stories making the headlines on the Vanguard newspaper this morning. Winners Chapel. I won't start my own church after retirement. Customs seizes 4 containers of 1.2 billion illicit drugs in Lagos. Flood submerges Delta communities, displaces residents. Sari Igamu collapsed building. Lagos demolishes distressed structures. Varsity workers to resume suspended strike over withheld salaries. Naira, among worst performing currencies in Africa, depreciates by 43%. World Bank. That's the much we can take from the Vanguard newspaper this morning. You're listening to newspaper headlines on Ebon at the 103.5 FM. Remember that you can become part of the conversation by sending your reactions via SMS or WhatsApp messages on 080 We are on to the Punch newspaper. Months after 350 escapees from Suleja, Medugri prisons at large. Escapees from Suleja, Medugri prisons at large. Delta businessman sues custom CG over Cross Rivers NOA advises residents on national anthem. 9 months after Ibadan, explosion victims groan in despair. Niger Delta elder statesman wants Nigeria restructured into 6 nations. Fuel price hike. Reps warn of unrest as federal government Labour meeting deadlocked. Heritage Energy empowers OML 30 contractors with capacity building workshops. Abakoba Rights National Assembly says EFCC unlawful organization. Era of part payment, delayed salaries gone. Ayedatiwa. APC, PDP trade wars over Makinde's call for Ondo work redeployment. US, India lead 172 nations at RIFF 2024. Owa Prince seeks justice in new monarch selection. Varsity workers slam federal government over new negotiation committee. Ondo police caution parties supporters against violence. Lagos state government allays concern on red line welfare. Edo mother seeks help for daughter with liver disease. 100,000 women, youths trained in agric ventures. Sanwo-Olu. Falola inaugurates African ancestral study in Ghana University. Shaibu cautions Obaseki's new appointees. IBD Dende seeks withdrawal of 500 million naira suit against journalist Sowombo. Edo poll, I will retrieve my mandate, Igadalo says. 1,000 Lagos residents to get free health insurance. NASU threatens to resume suspended strike. Edo community celebrates Abubakar's elevation to SAN status. Anambra is under insecurity siege. Tears as Jigawa buries 153 tanker explosion victims. PDP may postpone NEC meeting. Governors plot Damagun's exit. Lagos National Union of Road Transport Workers unveils 3,000 CNG tricycles worth 10.2 billion naira. Presidency, Senate deny Akpabio's impeachment rumor. Lagos NLC welcomes Sanwo-Olu's 85,000 naira minimum wage. Niger earmarks 70% 2025 budget to education, health. That's the much we can take from the Punch newspaper this morning. Still on the stories making the headlines on Nigerian newspapers this morning from the Punch newspaper, we'll flip over to the Daily Post newspaper. Presidency names those in charge of Nigeria as Tinubu Shetima remains abroad. NAU resident doctors kick against alleged exclusion from vice chancellor race. Police stakeholders begin a process to improve revenue generation. Biafra. Lawyer Ejimako debunks rumor of Nnamdi Kanu's release. FCT open for business. Wike invites investors. Niger government rallies stakeholders for food security. Nigeria Governors Forum grieves over death of 105 persons in Jigawa petrol tanker disaster. Senate confirms Tinubu's 21 RMAFC commissioner nominee. Minimum wage, Lagos will pay workers 85,000 naira. Sanwo-Olu enlisted enlightened Nigerians against oil scooping from tanker explosion. Senate tax NOA. Niger legislators urge state government to request federal government intervention on major road rehabilitation. Jigawa tanker accident. Tinubu dispatches federal delegation on condolence visit. That's the much we can take from the Daily Post newspaper this morning. From the Daily Post newspaper, we'll flip over to the Nation newspaper. Foreign remittances surged to $600 million. Federal government labor meet over fuel price hike. Nimet DG translation of meteorological data empowers farmers. No leadership vacuum, says presidency. Economic decline has been arrested, says Bagudu. EFCC, an unlawful organization, Abakoba writes National Assembly. 100 gigawatt tanker explosion victims buried. Federal government offers 10 billion naira CAM loan to facilitate CNG conversions. Lawmakers demand repairs of refineries. Cholera kills couple, 18 others in Lagos. Niger. Edo Governor-elect Opebolo decries looting of government properties, last-minute loans. Niger Delta Development Commission, First Ladies RHI partner on healthcare, education, others. Ondo 2024, Makinde one calling for Rex removal. Shetima heads to Sweden for bilateral talks, investments. Ayedatiwa spent 2.4 billion naira on meaningless projects. Senate okays 21 commissioners for RAMFC. Nigeria deploys satellite assets against terrorists, bandits. Still on the stories, making the headlines on the Nation newspaper this morning. Ondo 2024 APC candidate promise more development. Minimum wage, Lagos fixes 85,000 naira, Delta 77,500 naira. Lagos moves greater cyber safety awareness in schools. Oil magnate sues EFCC for unlawfully declaring him wanted. Ondo REC can't guarantee free, fair, credible poll. We need institutional support on to hit $1 trillion economy. We need institutional support to hit $1 trillion economy. Japa use should be in agriculture. Extend CNG kits to aid agri states. Pupils get free eggs. CNG hybrid designer gets electric vehicle. Research development key in strengthening our military. Federal government implementing reforms to reduce cost of living. Others, no leadership vacuum. Presidency assures. Reported deployment of DSS operatives to National Assembly over Akpabio's baseless, says presidency. Edo governor-elect raises the alarm over alleged looting. Yoruba nation agitator dies in custody as 27 others appears in court. Airlines to access dry lease aircraft as federal government signs IDERA. That's the most we can take from the Nation newspaper this morning. You are listening to newspaper headlines on Ebon at the 103.5 FM. When I go for a short break, when we come back, we'll continue on the stories making the headlines on Nigerian newspapers. Please stay with us.
Mbona makadizo yana mbele. Data imenyimfo.
EBEONADI 103.5 FM. Napapoa production. Police vigilante. Na my business in my mind. When I was telling you, ATJ radio drama, people. Akụkọ ihe mere n'ime ogbe. ATJ radio drama, Ewiku, Ghana Dialogue, every Monday, 8 o'clock p.m. with a repeat broadcast on Saturday, 3 o'clock p.m. Now, EBEONADI 103.5 FM. If you move by the finish of the
Amara mi rewa di amo. Kuma kuna ga do na na ko na ni ko na yi. Nke ka ku ka buna ana ma wuce na ya ma wule shi.
How best can we talk about the challenges we are having on our streets, our community, our society in general? Street report. If we do not address these challenges on EBEONADI FM, who will? As the happenings around us get as complicated as they can be.
Government.
Street report is here to make sense of it all. Street report is causing social change across your streets. In your community. Street report is here with hardcore journalists to get to the root of our problem. Why don't you join me, Martin Ifanishu, number the first, every Friday, 4:30 p.m. on EBEONADI 103.5 FM as Street Reports unfolds in your face. On EBEONADI 24/7, 24/7. Man is a political animal. That's why we all have our views on politics. Political View comes to you at EBEONADI 103.5 FM with Martin Ifanishu is here every Monday, 3 o'clock p.m. to 4:30 p.m. and Saturday, 10 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. It's all about the day-to-day activities in the Nigerian political space. Views of political actors from various political parties on political process. Views of labor leaders, and most importantly, your views. Views of the common Nigerian. Tune in to EBEONADI 103.5 FM or you join online via mixlr.com/gistfm every Monday and Saturday. What are your political views? Keep a date.
Thank God it's Friday. Friday is the most favorable day of the week. So hook up with DJ East every Friday by 9 p.m. on EBEONADI 103.5 FM. This is a program where we bring on to you entertainment and the best of fun and also give you the privilege to make some music requests. TGIF, thank God it's Friday. Don't miss this every Friday night by 9 p.m. with DJ East on EBEONADI 103.5 FM of the
You're welcome back to Newspaper Headlines on Airborne at the 103.5 FM. Remember that you can become part of the conversation by sending your reactions via SMS or WhatsApp messages on 080 We are on to this day newspaper. Fubara assures Oando of friendly business climate to hit 100,000 barrel per day crude, 5 BCF gas targets. Kiamo, NCAA DG sign IDERA circular document. Constitution review. Abakoba Rice National Assembly says EFCC unlawful organization. Still on the stories making the headlines on this day newspaper this morning, UNODC 68% of inmates in custodial centers awaiting trial. Local Content Act, Ishekiri, Ijo, Ilaja. Graduates threaten shutdown of Chevron facilities in Delta, Oando. Idris charges Nigerians to rebrand country, build on nation's strengths. Ohaneze rejects plot to install Ohakim as the President General. Labour silent after parley with the federal government on fuel price hike. There may be anarchy if hardship persists in Nigeria, ex-minister Essien warns government. Local Content Act, Ishekiri, Ijo, Ilaje, graduates threatens shutdown of Chevron facilities in Delta, Ondo. CJN laments number of pending cases, threatens sack of non-performing judges. After monetary relief, inflation hits 32.70% amid higher food, energy prices. Still on the stories making the headlines on this day newspaper this morning. Nigeria Breweries rewards Nasarawa teacher 10 million naira. Coronation Insurance promo offers 30 million naira worth of prizes. UBA Foundation commences 2024 National Essay Competition. Stock market drops by 148 billion naira on profit taking in Aradale. Others. NISIG graduates fifth cohort as official leaders in the digital space. SIBAN delist erring members call for caution. Dangote as Nigeria's most valuable brand. SEC cautions against indiscriminate issuance of debt instruments by subnationals. SEC cautions against indiscriminate issuance of debt instruments by subnationals. That's the much we can take from this day newspaper this morning. Still on the stories making the headlines on Nigerian newspapers this morning, from this day newspaper, we'll flip over to Nigerian Tribune. No vacuum in governance with Tinubu Chetima outside Nigeria presidency. Sanwo-Olu to pay 85,000 naira minimum wage. MPA Port Health Services to deepen ties at Tinkan Port. Government Governor Lawal donates bus to Zamfara Retired Permanent Secretaries Association. Nigeria Customs Service wins IPRA Golden World Award. Be careful of foreign artificial intelligence technologies. JAMB Registrar cautions Africa. International E-Waste Day. Experts urge public to stop trashing electronic waste with ordinary garbage. Presidency denies targeting Akpabio for impeachment. Akpabio's impeachment rumor unacceptable, unspeakable. Senate spokesperson. We have disbursed over 10 billion naira loans to 40,000 students. NELFUND boss. We have disbursed over 10 billion naira loans to 40,000 students. NEL Fund boss. Environment groups express support for counter COP, reiterate call for climate justice. Era of promoting hand washing not over. Minister, continuation of readers' comments to my concern mounts over shortage of tuberculosis drugs in Akwa Ibom. Suicide itself is not a mental health condition. Sheikh, former APN president. Malaria, stress, cold weather do not transform to typhoid fever, says experts. Our cargo policies are to ensure adherence to international standard FAAN. Reps to consider students' sexual harassment bill at committee of the whole. Tanker explosion. Defense minister sympathizes with Jigawa government people. Family demands 2 billion naira compensation for National Drug Law Enforcement Agency. That's the much we can take from the Nigerian Tribune this morning. That will also mark the conclusion of all that we have for you on this particular edition of newspaper headlines on EBEONADI 103.5 FM. Remember that you can become part of the conversation by sending your reactions via SMS or WhatsApp messages on 08065796599. We now flip over to our SMS portal. From our SMS portal this morning, we have this message is coming from Chinedu Oneka, and he says, Chinedu Oneka, pastor, he says, Naira among worst depreciating currencies in Africa. Very sad. Our leaders should wake up. Okay. Thank you so much. And okay, thank you so much for joining us this morning. Still on our SMS portal, we have this message is coming from Ogochukwu Ipechuku, and she says, we Nigerians are no more comfortable about President and his vice traveling from one country to the other. Let them come back to Nigeria and put things in order, or let them resign. May God have mercy on Nigerians. Amen. Ogochukwu Ipechuku, thank you so much for joining us this morning. From our SMS portal, we'll flip over to our WhatsApp portal. We have this message is coming from Waloto Patrick from Monteje, and he says, this is just to commend the professional bodies in the country for looking at President Tinubu eyeball to eyeball and told him that he is punishing Nigerians through his unfriendly numerous policies. At the same time, I want to urge all other groups in the country, such as the traditional institutions, religious bodies, academia, etc., to emulate the professional bodies. I equally support the civil society organization for urging federal government to sanction the violators of local government autonomy law. It is now obvious that there are some arrangements in some quarters to undermine the efforts to made so far by the federal government to reposition local government in the country. May the souls of those that lost their lives in Jigawa tanker explosion rest in peace. Once again, Waloto Patrick from Monteje. Thank you so much for joining us this morning, Waloto Patrick. Still on our WhatsApp portal, we have this message is coming from Agonabo. He's joining us from Ofa, Aguluzibu, and he says, Tanker Fire Saga. May the soul of those who are involved rest in peace. Amen. He says this is the country we find ourselves in, where there is no orderliness, and a country where law enforcement is not working properly. Poverty wahala in Nigeria, where hunger is ravaging and escalating like tank fires. Illegal drug saga have risked illegal living, and many people are living in the mercy of God. And he says, Nnamdi Kanu wahala. Continuous detention of Nnamdi Kanu in prison is barbaric and is long overdue. Let federal government have to federal government have to do something now and let peace be in our country. We are watching our stains on food. Okay, thank you so much for joining us this morning. Agonabo from Mofa Aguluzibo. Also, on our WhatsApp portal, we have this message coming from Chinedu Oneka Pastor again, and he says, my prayers goes to the victims of Jigawa tanker fire explosion. May God console them. Okay, thank you so much for joining us this morning. And with that message from Chinedu Oneka Pastor, this is the spot where we'll call it a day on this particular edition of Newspaper Headlines on EBEONADI 103.5 FM. Remember, it comes your way weekdays in the morning once it's 7 o'clock. So keep a date. And don't touch the dial of EBEONADI 103.5 FM once it's 8:20 this morning. We'll be back with Beat the Splash. Till we meet again, I am Martin. Have a blissful morning.
EBEONADI 103.5 FM. Nabakoa production. My business. When I was telling you, AJ radio drama, Emiko. AJ radio drama, Emiko, Ghana Dialogue every Monday, 8 o'clock p.m. Broadcast on Saturday, 3 o'clock p.m. Now, EBEONADI 103.5 FM.
If you move and finish your business,
Amara mi le wa di ammo. Ko ba kuna ga do do na na ko na ni ko na ni. Nke ka ku ka wala ala ma wu ko na ya mo le.
How best can we talk about the challenges we are having on our streets, our community, our society in general? Street report. If we do not address these challenges on EBEONADI FM, who will? As the happenings around us get as complicated as they can be.
Government.
Whatever Street report is here to make sense of it all. Street report is causing social change across your streets. In your community. Street report is here with hardcore journalism to get to the root of our problem. Why don't you join me, Martin Ifanju, as number the first every Friday, 4:30 p.m. on EBEONADI 103.5 FM as Street Reports unfolds in your face. On EBEONADI corner 24/7, 24/7.
Man is a political animal. That's why we all have our views on politics. Political View comes to you at EBEONADI 103.5 FM with Martin Ifeanyi Chukwu every Monday, 3 o'clock p.m. to 4:30 p.m. and Saturday, 10 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. It's all about the day-to-day activities in the Nigerian political space. Views of political actors from various political parties on political process. Views of labor leaders, and most importantly, your views. Views of the common Nigerian. Tune in to EBEONADI 103.5 FM or you join online via mixlr.com/gistfm every Monday and Saturday. What are your political views? Keep a date.
Okay, guys, thank you. Like, subscribe, and share right here. The subscribe button right here. You rock.